Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my full walkthrough for the low level mage video. We're going to be picking up right where we left off after getting the magic scorpion talisman. So heading back to the waypoint runes, speaking with her again, we can show her that Azura spell we got. She's going to give us a seal breaker, and then she's going to tell us about the master sorcerer guy and give us some instructions to go find him. So he's just right here at that marked location. It's a hidden wall. You can get there from the Church of the Plague site of Grace, and you just ride into it or dodge roll or attack it. So there's a lot of hidden walls through here. The path will be very short for you until you attack those walls and open up the passageways. So if you just drop down where I do, I think there's going to be one enemy down here. You can see the seal in the background. So just deal with the enemy there, and we can use the key she gave us to break the seal. Really good spell too from doing this quest, so that's pretty worth it. So at this point, in order to pursue her quest a little bit further, we now need to go kill Radahn over in this castle. So that waygate should now be open for us, and we can initiate the festival. So for this fight, I believe I would recommend putting the staff over in your right hand in order to use it while horseback. And it's pretty straightforward once you get the dodging down. Just continuously summon the provided characters in here and NPCs, and then it's just a matter of dodging his attacks and getting enough damage dealt to him. You do want to keep a distance because he does have some pretty big spells that hit from a range. At least in this video, I was not running too many healing flasks. A lot of blue ones is what I was going with. So you want to be careful. So afterwards, make sure you speak to the guy sitting in the chair who initiated the festival for us. And now we can go back to the waypoint runes. She will still be there. And we're going to head right in there to the Witchbane Ruins in the Weeping Peninsula area. Alright, so when you head on down here, there is her true form, which has been being held prisoner. So we're going to just continue on with her quest, take that item from her. Deal with any enemies that may have followed you down here. And then if you just do a quick save and quit, when you load back in, the witch hunter should be here. And he'll have some dialogue for you. Alright, so the next step would be going back to that underground area that we discovered. And you just put that item back in her chest. So to continue on with the quest line, we now need to kill Rennala. But first, if you haven't been to the round table to collect your next talisman pouch after defeating Radahn there, I would recommend grabbing it. So this boss fight, it's pretty straightforward. There's going to be a couple enemies on the ground with glowing orbs throwing books at you. You just got to hit them 3 times. Boss drops down. So I throw Night Maiden's Mist at her, Freezing Mist, and then I switch to Rock Sling. And for the most part, you can actually KO her in one go if everything goes to plan. I didn't quite get it there in one go, so I had to hit her little minions 3 times again. But that's fine because this allowed me to completely buff up and get ready for phase 2 before activating it. So if you noticed, I didn't use the dogs in phase 1. It's kind of ridiculous. I would save your spirit summon for phase 2. If you run right up to her at the start, you can safely spirit summon and not get hit by that attack. She opens with it almost every time. And then while Rennala is distracted, you should be able to get all your buffs on, Terra Magica on the ground, and you can start throwing some rocks at her. So this will work out really great until she starts summoning spirits as well. That's where this fight could take you a few tries, depending on what she brings in. In my case, she brought in the wolves, which actually I think they nearly get me. Yeah, so that was actually getting pretty close there. Finish her with a glintstone pebble. So that's honestly a very tricky fight for a mage character outside of the damage Rocksling does, so that one could take a while for you guys. Once you have done it though, head back out to those big doors that we opened in front of her boss room, and there's going to be 2 signs there. So I choose to side with the sorcerer. So that means it'll be her and I fighting the witch hunter. Now generally he's there for her, so we can just kind of continue casting from a distance. Rocksling, as usual, just disgusting damage. Comet as well probably would have done some big damage too. But anyways, that will be completing her quest. So once that's done, you can now speak to her and she will have the Shard Spiral spell available. That is one of my favorite spells for sure. It's so strong, so powerful, and it has the potential to do an insane amount of damage. It's how I typically kill the Elden Beast in all of my low-level mage runs. So now you can ride over there into the big hole in the ground that was opened up after killing Radahn to reach Nokron City. So in here we gotta fight ourselves. I throw the mist spells in there and then just some rocks. And the poor Mimic did not even stand a chance. And that'll be the Silver Tear Mask. So if you want to use any arcane spells, you can swap that on at any point. So that's where we are there, Mimic Site of Grace. So if you come down to the Ancestral Wood Site of Grace, and again, I believe this map is shared with the Siofra River well map. So if you're wondering where to get that map piece, it's in the Siofra River. Or you can just follow the path here that I'm running. It's pretty straightforward in the video. So right here, another whetstone blade if you'd like it. That one I believe grants you the affinity of putting blood on your weapons. You got a Site of Grace behind us. I'm in a hurry, so I guess I didn't activate it. If you stay to the far right over here before the stairs, you won't activate the big Mimic Ogre guy that comes out, the troll. So you can stay a little safer that way. And inside is the Finger Slayer blade, which we need for Ranni's quest. So head back to Ranni, give that to her, and she'll give us the inverted statue.
My thanks. I must thank Tor. You may leave. It was but...
So the inverted statue, that's going to go right here. We're down on the lower cliff side of this tower. There's an entrance down here. So you place the statue to flip this tower upside down, essentially. And you can remove it to undo that effect as well, because there is a few items if you keep it the regular way before inverting it. So you could always go through, collect those. I invert it, go through the tower, and then ride the elevator down. Cross the bridge, go up, and that's where we'll get Stargazer's heirloom. So you'll end up right there if you've done that correctly, and that's +5 on a talisman to intelligence. So at this point, I came down to the stranded graveyard because the dogs are just not going to cut it. The game difficulty will spike here, so I wanted a better spirit summon, and I wanted a quick one. So this run generally is quite fast, as I do it all the time, and also killing this boss down here grants you the golden seed as well. So that was why I picked here. You don't necessarily need to get this same spirit summon. This is completely optional. But yeah, if you progress through the Fringe Folk little crypt here to the bottom, that's where you'll find this boss. So this boss, he's super greasy when you step in, as he charges you almost every time. Eventually there might be an occasion where he sits back a bit and will give you a safe moment to summon your spirit. If you just keep hitting him with Rock Sling, eventually his guard breaks and then he'll collapse, which essentially lets you finish him off with the damage we can dish. And yeah, Golden Seed, but Banished Knight Oleg was the main reason I came down here, just for a better spirit summon. So I was able to get Oleg up to +5, it looks like. Not quite as good as I wanted, but it should get the job done. So once you light all the torches that are scattered around this area here in the fields, there's little statues, you just got to illuminate them, and then you can activate the boss over here. So this boss, I don't actually have much information on this boss as to how its healing regen works. I just know that if you don't kill the boss fast enough, it just seems to endlessly continue healing. So again, if you just stay persistent with Rock Sling, keep throwing those rocks at him, his guard will break, allowing you some big opportunities to hit him hard. Looks like I grew tired and went to Comet, another very powerful spell on him. But yeah, I think that fight took me 2 or 3 tries because he just kept healing. But yeah, you can exchange his soul for the Ancestral Spirit Horn Talisman. And that's the one that grants you FP back for every kill. So pairs really good with Carrion Slicer. Alright, so now we're just up here, ready to enter the capital. So I summon that guy. The little NPC sign on the ground, the Great Horn. So if you get all your buffs in order right here, and Oleg in, the boss always has this animation where he activates for a bit and has to do his thing. Okay, wow, I didn't realize I killed him in one go there. Usually after his animation finishes, if you haven't killed him, you'd want to end that cast and then finish him off with Comet or Rock Sling. So a really quick way to get through the capital. Again, this is if you're in a hurry, I'd stand here and hop down. And then I just parkour the rooftops. There's a ton of items in the capital though. I wouldn't really recommend running through all of this. There is a couple perfume bottles. So definitely look those up. It's kind of optional, but I would recommend grabbing them, especially before turning the capital into ash. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go back to normal speed here for this. This is a really tricky spot, especially at a low level when you're running through here to progress, as a guy will cast lightning on me. So if you noticed, let's take that back a bit here. When I cross with this pillar, when I'm lined up right at the end of this here, that's when I dodge, and I'll dodge the arrow and the lightning strike. That would be exactly where you want to do your Bloodhound step or a roll, and you should get through that just fine. And then when you get up to the top here and up the ladder, there is one more guy who can cast that lightning spell. But this time you should be able to just crouch and sneak by him. Or running and risking the perfectly timed Bloodhound step. So there is a golden seed up here right by that guy. So after you grab that, you just continue onward up the tree towards the Spirit Summon Golden Godfrey boss. So this fight, he has probably one of the most telegraphed movesets, honestly. So you just keep your distance and cast. One strategy that might also work, I got it to work a few times, is I run all the way to the back, and it takes him forever to walk down here. So I was able to get all my buffs going, Terra Magica, Spirit Summon, and then cast the Comet Azure. And that almost killed him a few times, but there's several times where he would kill me like that. So if you do want to try that method, what you'd want to do, get all your buffs going, start the cast, and then you'd want to end it early after he does the stomp. Because right here he drops the hammer, and honestly I should have died there. The hitbox was a little off and I got lucky. And then you can just finish him off with regular spells, which I do with Rock Sling and Comet. So killing him, that's going to grant you the final talisman pouch. Now we have all 4. But we're not quite done the build yet. There's a few key items and spells we're going to need. Okay, so moving on right to the next boss here, there is an NPC you can take with you. So I grab the NPC, bring in my Banished Knight. And yeah, for the most part, it's just learning his moveset, learning how to dodge him, and casting big spells. When he goes to take a knee here, I run in and throw Night Maiden's Mist on him. I feel like that really helps, because he stayed fighting in that for quite some time. And he was finished off with ease. Alright, so once you open up the path to Mountaintops of the Giants, the forbidden pathway here, and you've climbed up top, you'll find the Zaymor Ruins, so just off to the side here. Right at the very back, you can collect the Zaymor Ice Storm spell. So again, going all the way through there to Castle Sol. This is actually a very, very tough area. So I'm going to show you a couple easy ways here to kill these enemies. It's typically just casting Night Maiden's Mist. Once you kill these 2 lion dog things, they won't respawn. So don't hold back on spell casting and blue flasks. Once they're dead, they're not coming back. Come run up here. Again, you can use Night Maiden's Mist to clear all of the slugs out of this area. Because those guys, basically we're at the point where anything kills you now. So then you can use a little bit of parkour if you'd like to make your way through this castle. And when you're running up the steps here, this guy, he will typically cut you down. So just kind of bait him into a familiar attack and then Bloodhound Step or dodge roll by him. When you get into this room, after getting the second Sight of Grace, you're going to get swarmed by a ton of enemies unless you kill these guys floating up in the cells. The little cages hanging up there. So make sure you kill those guys and then you won't deal with a giant ambush of enemies. So if you would like, you can get the shortcut there. Okay, so once we get our buffs on for this fight, honestly, once you step in, you don't even need a Spirit Summon. If you put all of your proper buffs on, you should be able to kill the boss in one giant Comet Azure. Just make sure when you go into this fight, you step to the left a little bit. I came in on a straight line, so the boss actually didn't take the full damage of my Comet Azure spell, which you'll see here. I ended up keeping this for the video just to show, in case you aren't able to finish him off with this spell, on how to dodge his next few attacks, because again, they are quite telegraphed. So when he stomps on the ground with the lightning there, he'll jump, and when he's at the height of his jump, that's when you want to dodge, and make sure you dodge further away from him. So let's see that again. He stomps, he jumps up into the air, and then when he reaches the height of his jump, you'll see him do kind of like a bit of a pause, and that's when you want to dodge, and make sure you dodge again or you're at least cleared, because he does a backwards stab in your direction. And then the other attack right here is this one here where he does a whirlwind. Again, that should have hit me. Weird hitbox is missing me today. So right there, when he's right in front of you, that's when you'd want to safely dodge. You do actually have a pretty big window on that for his delayed slice. But that's how you would dodge those attacks if you don't get them with the Comet Azure. Okay, so once you've killed him, you can head up and collect the left half of the medallion, the secret medallion. And if you never found the other half, I'll show you quick where that is. It's in the village of the Albinaurics, which you can access through this little water entryway here, or through this side of Grace. There's a couple pathways in. It's not on the top of that plateau where the map is showing. It's underneath. And there's a little pot over here. Very tough enemy, so that spell seemed a little overkill. But then, yeah, open up the pot, talk to this guy, get the right half of the medallion. And now when we go back to the lift that brought us to the mountaintop of the giants, you'll have the option to switch it to use the secret medallion. So once you use the secret medallion, that's going to take you to a new path, which will lead out to the Consecrated Snowfields. Now that is a very tough area. I'm going to do my best to show you what we need from there. Hopefully you guys can survive it. Again, once you get the map piece, these are some sites of grace that you'll want. Okay, but in order to get this next item, there's one thing we need. And that's going to be back here in that kind of magic castle at the Leyndell Lakes. So head to the main academy gate. And if you just go kind of southeast here, down this path, eventually you'll come across this merchant, and he sells a spirit ash that we need. I wouldn't recommend leveling up these guys unless you're their biggest fan, but we just need them briefly to unlock a puzzle. So heading back to the Consecrated Snowfields, we're going to this side of Grace right in the middle there. And we're going to be moving upwards towards this tower. So it is going to be kind of tricky to see, but there's not too many enemies along the way. Yeah, Albinaurics Rise. So once you get here, we have to open up the seal with a puzzle, and that's by making this guy fight our own little spirit-fanged imps. So I'm pretty sure the second the fight initiates, you can just kill him with magic. I kind of waited just to be safe. I don't think that was necessary. But anyways, once he's dead, the seal will open. We can just head right up top, where we're going to find the Graven Mass Talismans. That one's really, really good. I think that's 8% boost. And it does stack with the School Mass, or Graven School Talisman, sorry. Those two will stack together if you equip them. Okay, so everyone's favorite puzzle. Nobody likes lighting all of these to unlock the Haligtree. I'm going to show you an easy way. So you get this guy's attention up on the roof. You do not need to kill him. You just need to get his attention. So I'm now standing here waiting until I hear him stop shooting. Because once he's done being aggroed on me, he's actually not going to turn around. He's going to continue facing this way right now. So that means when I'm over here, and I'm going to be running towards him on the rooftops, he will have his back to me. So if you follow this path here, going up the ladder, there'll be another ladder, and we can activate the first one right there, which I already had. So again, just be careful. There is another guy that does see us. So you just wait until he's done shooting. So once he's done shooting, we're going to go ahead and make our run here. And the other guy won't see us coming because his back is turned. When he does realize we're here, it's too late. So you can either kill him or just hit him with spells or something until he's pushed off the edge, and then he's not a threat. So keep heading up. Again, activate another light. And then while you're on this roof right here, you can actually cast Rock Sling down on this guy. And since the spell goes way above your head before casting it, you can position yourself in a way where his arrows get caught on the roof, and you can just keep throwing rocks down safely until he's dead. So once he's dead, keep going with the parkour on the roof, and then drop down right here. Be really careful though, because that enemy that's hidden, the invisible guy, he should be right there. So you want to be super careful. Oh yeah, there, I just bumped into him. So just drop down, jump in there, activate it as quick as possible. And then if you want to make sure you have enough time to run to the next one, hop up here onto the balcony and just kind of hover here for a few seconds, because that will convince his AI to backtrack to come around to the balcony, and it will give you more than enough time to come through the snow and up the ladder. And that will be the final one we need to activate. So now we have the waygate open for the Haligtree. So this is what the Haligtree looks like here. I've got a few sites of grace open. And make sure once you play through this up until the boss, you activate that elevator shortcut, because it's much faster to get to the boss from. Now this fight, honestly, I spent a lot of time here. I was not familiar with this fight. It's been a while since I've been here at a low-level mage, so I don't know how many tips I can really offer besides relying heavily on a really good spirit summon to help you. But I will show you more or less my methods for beating this boss, and hopefully it helps. Basically, it's just a lot of dodging and casting when safe. You just want to really get to know this guy's spells, and when she essentially casts, what her attacks are, her movesets are, and just know when your openings are. Sadly, my level 5 Oleg was not really cutting it. He would die quite quickly most times. Honestly, if you do bring Scarlet Rot, the incantation, with you, I'd say some of those incantations would be really helpful, but I didn't want to rely on them as this is a mage build myself, so I wanted to make sure I was showing you guys that it is possible to do it just with spells. Super annoying when the boss is spammy like that, but anyways, eventually with trial and error, hopefully you do get it. So then here we are at the prayer room site of grace. And again, I've killed a lot of the enemies here, but you just hop on the railing onto this piece here. And if you drop down the pathway that I make, this is typically going to be the safest route to get down to this room. Make sure you have the sword keys with you, because once we get inside there, that will be the source seal for the +5 in mind, intelligence, faith, and arcane. So that is now basically my typical loadout for talismans. So anyways, there's a couple items left. I think maybe only one actually that I'm going to be showing off. But essentially that's going to be all the talismans that you need. There is a few more that you could get that I'm sure will help, but those are going to be the basics for making this build. Okay, so once we have all of those, back in the Consecrated Snowfields, if you progress all the way to that site of grace there, it'll be a tunnel with a lift down into this cave. So this is a very tough area, so I'm going to quickly run through it, showing you the path to take in order to get the boss door unlocked. And for the most part, I just ran by all of the enemies. There is one enemy, though, very strong guy. I would very much recommend killing him. That's this guy right here who's going to spawn in. He casts some gravity magic. So if you were to choose to grab the shortcut and just jump into the boss, there's a good chance that he's going to sneak in with you and do what he does in this video, which is stab me in the back, essentially. Because everything was going so well until he made it into the boss fight as well. So I would recommend just killing him and getting him out of your way completely. So for this fight, again, this one is going to be quite tricky. Anything really after the capital is, but this one in particular. So I get my buffs on, and before I summon the spirit, I wait till he does that laser beam. So if we see that again, right there, he kind of has a head tilt before firing it. That's when you want to do your dodge. And then you can safely summon your spirit. He'll do a tail whip usually after that twice. Hit 1, hit 2, just a dodge roll or bloodhound step, whatever you'd like. So the shard spiral does come in handy quite a bit here, as it has the potential to travel through a lot of him, dealing big damage. So I was using a lot of Shard Spiral, Night Maiden's Mist, just overall those spells along with Comet and the Rock Sling. It's just a matter of keeping your distance though. Eventually he will disappear, where he starts casting down these big meteors. So I'm not sure what the best way is to dodge those here. I just get close to him, and honestly I just Bloodhound step 3-4 times while standing kind of in front of him, a little to the left, and 90% of the time I dodge all of his meteorites. So again, a little later on, once you've got his health even lower, he's going to disappear again, and this move got me at least 3 times. I really hate it. So if I show you that one more time, when he swings in and starts moving towards us for the grab, that's when you want to do the dodge, either a roll or a Bloodhound step. And if you wait too long before killing him, he actually will go back to casting that meteorite spell. So that's why you want to make sure you finish him off rather quickly before he gets into doing that again. And once he's defeated, that is going to be our Meteorite of Estelle. And that is the build. So I hope this was helpful for someone. This is a really special build to me. I have probably 300 hours on this character at level 35. And yeah, if you have any comments as to how you can make it stronger, please let me know. Help others out. That would be much appreciated. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.